Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another episode of Stag Stuff. We're back in the garage. Mellow Yellow here has had a bit of a vibration issue. Starts vibrating at about 60 miles an hour. And let's just say you can drive through it. Couldn't possibly say at what speed. But it's a case of something's out of balance, and we've looked at wheel balancing. I have had a new differential put on over winter because the diff was bad. We thought the vibration was coming from that, but it's better, but it's still not completely fixed. So what I'm going to do now, Dan at Faversham Classics and I've been looking all over the car to see if we can isolate exactly where the vibration is coming from. We're thinking it's potentially the prop shaft. So I'm going to whip that off, and then there's a lovely little company up in Bexley Heath that specialise in balancing these things. So I'm going to take the prop shaft up there and we'll see if it is balanced or if it isn't. Okay, first job. Get her up on the ramps, and I must admit I do feel like it's almost cheating. I've got these fabulous hydraulic ramps at the front, and then I've put the rear axle on a couple of stands there. That should give me plenty of height. Okay, to be able to get access to the prop shaft, which is up underneath your lovely exhaust system. Hang on, there we go. There's the exhausts. We need to take the exhaust system off from this point backwards. So that's going to be my first little job. I think I'm going to start here, just loosening things off, and then just work my way back. Okay, the next step, straighten these out best I can, which I've done. I've given the joint there a good hammering to break the seals, and now I'm just hoping to get on the end and pull. There we go. Same principle for these two now. Wriggle, break the seal. There we go, and then it should pull free. Now I've got a little tip for you when it comes to the double silencers that run underneath the car. If you think you're going to be able to release this joint here by pushing the exhaust through the holes in the back axle, you won't. There isn't enough clearance when you get to this point here. It is still loads and loads of metal inside the double silencer from the front manifold downpipes. So what you need to do, release these, loosen them up, then you want to drop those underneath the axle, and then you can pull it out. Okay, so the brackets are now free, which means that the exhaust can now hang underneath the rear axle, and I should just be able to pull it off. Okay, there we go. So we've now got our double silencer off. That's where she was. And now we have got full access to the prop shaft. And it's just 4 bolts at this end, 4 bolts at that end, and down she drops. Hopefully that's going to now be the easiest part of the job. That exhaust was a bastard. It really was, especially that connection just there. Okay, so I've got just 1 bolt left in at this end, and I've got just, sorry about that, 1 bolt left in at this end. Now what I have done actually is I have marked where I'm going to be taking this out from. Reason being is that Dan at Faversham has told me that the bolts aren't square, so this is going to actually help me line it back up again when I take it out. So I'm going to try and drop it down both ends at the same time, so there's no risk of this part expanding out. Yeah, once again, sorry if my head or something or other gets in the way. So I'm just taking the bolt out of this one just to free it off. Oh, there we go, she's there. Okay, put that down there safely. Take the bolt out of this end. That's it. There we go. And away she comes. 1 prop shaft in the boot of the car, and ready to go up to Bexley Heath to be balanced, and let's see how we get on. Now I have to say, the guys at JWE were absolutely fantastic. I turned up at 8:30, handed the prop shaft over, and they slapped it straight on a machine. And there's a cafe literally just over the road, so I had a nice spot of breakfast, and half an hour later got a phone call from them saying job's a good 'un. So I was on my way home as soon as I'd finished breakfast. Result. Okay, so all I've got to do now is just the reverse order of what I did to get it out, and just pop it back up underneath there. How hard can that be? So yeah, and apparently it was out of balance, so let's just hope that this is going to fix my problem. Aha, now that is actually looking a bit more hopeful. Will this one pop in and go through? I've got 2 screws in here. Just going to loosely put the bolts on, and then we'll go and do the other end. Okay, so bolts are in, just loosely done up, but so that's all in the right place. Okay, now to get the torque settings for it. It's 34 pound-foot of torque. and I've got a little short torque wrench because the mobility is very, very limited underneath there. It's only on axle stands. Don't have the privilege of having a hoist or anything fancy like that. So let's get under and get these torque settings done. Well, getting the prop shaft on wasn't so bad. Nah, just the exhaust. I think that's going to be a little bit more tricky, but we'll soon find out. I have put a tiny little bit of oil on these because it was so difficult getting them off. I thought I'll just, I probably shouldn't have done it, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to do any harm having a little bit of oil on the inside just here. So let's see. If we can get these on. So support this. There we go, like that. That's that one. Okay, so with a little bit of jiggery pokery, we've managed to get these back on. Literally just a case of wiggling side to side and getting them pushed up to here. So all I've got to do now, there's a couple of bolts that go, where are we now? Here we go. One there, to attach it to the subframe up here, and then we can start attaching the pipes further back down that way. Now I must just say that the fitting of the rear twin silencer was a particularly evil job, so because of height restrictions I couldn't video it, but now we're just going to finish tightening up all of the bolts and let's keep our fingers crossed. Now for the moment of truth. Do I have any leaks in the exhaust? Is she going to blow, or is she going to be just fine? No leaks. fabulous.
Well, that was a partial success. And I say partial because, yes, the prop shaft did need rebalancing. It was out. And yes, I did manage to get the exhaust back on. Seriously, guys, if you're going to do a job like that, it took me the best part of, well, let me think, 10 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon to get that prop shaft and exhaust back on. I was doing it on my own. I really could have done with an extra pair of hands, but hey-ho. The outcome, though, is I've still got a vibration. The frustrating thing is, though, is now that we've got rid of the vibration, shall we say, under the floor of the car, which means that the diff and the prop shaft are sorted out, I've now got a very, very slight vibration coming from further forward somewhere. So maybe that's something to do with the steering, something that I now need to go and check out. So there's never a dull moment when you've got a Stag. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Stay well, stay safe, and see you next time. If you've enjoyed this video, please do click on the like and subscribe buttons. And if you click on the bell, YouTube will be good enough to even notify you when we post new videos.